All right, welcome back. This next story may be slightly controversial, but it's how I feel, right? So there's an active movement, I think, in our society today that is trying to run down the very fabric of our establishment, right? They've tried to minimize and degrade the nuclear family as a bad thing. They've continued a decades-long war on getting God out of school and God out of businesses. And now, with the garbage that's being discussed about men and women's sports at the Supreme Court, it's clear that they want to blur all the lines that may define us. And now it's culminating in the blurring or completely removing of the lines that separate citizens from non-citizens. There's no line between boys and girls anymore. There's no line between anything. Everybody must be equal, and it's driving me crazy. I'm sure my next guest will have a thing or two to say about this, but please welcome into the show Dr. Carol Swain. Doctor, they're trying to homogenize the society. Everybody's got to be equal. That smacks of communism. I can't stand it. They're blurring all the lines. If not, they're getting rid of lines. There's no difference between men and women. There's no difference between citizen and non-citizen. It drives me crazy. What say you?
Well, this is not new. It goes back to Antonio Gramsci, an Italian communist that came up with the idea of cultural hegemony. And he was trying to figure out why Karl Marx's economic theory failed. And he decided it was the institutions of Western civilization, marriage, the family, church, law, government. And so he came up with a strategy of infiltrating the institutions and dismantling them from inside. And we started seeing the breakdown of society in the early 1960s. And you're right, they want to blur all distinctions. What they had that most people didn't realize was a plan, and much of that plan has come to fruition. And so, yeah, the whole purpose is to destroy the family. They've infiltrated and destroyed many of our churches. The government is just totally in shambles. It's all about Western civilization and culture. Bring the whole thing down, bring it down from inside. And unfortunately, I would argue that they have people in both political parties that are committed to the ideology that undergirds communism and socialism. And if anyone wants to know more about this, I'll be happy to tell them. But they have been working that plan for a long time. We're just catching up.
Yeah, maybe I'm just waiting. I'm waking up. Maybe I'm all of a sudden everything's in the spotlight for me. Now, what I can't believe, and this is where it really got me, and this is where I kind of came onto the whole idea, was we have people not Nebraska, we have people in Minnesota that are representing or fighting on behalf of or getting in the way of ICE trying to do their jobs and defending the non-citizen because they don't think it's right that these people are being treated like non-citizens. But there is a right. If you have rights if you're a citizen, you don't have those rights if you're not a citizen. But they don't think that's fair. They really don't think that that's fair. They want them to have all the same rights. Go ahead.
They don't care. I argue that they don't care about blacks and minorities and immigrants. It's all part of a progressive strategy to dismantle our society. And those groups are being used like pawns. And you see the people in the streets, they are minority. Those are dedicated activists, in some cases being paid to be crisis actors, being paid to be out there on the streets. They don't represent America. They don't represent the real America. And so we need to take our country back. We really do. Otherwise, we will not have a country. And that was the whole goal, to dismantle institutions, nations from within, and that pivot and cloward strategy of overwhelming the welfare system by overloaded by bringing in more and more poor people. We see that played out. We see the Marxists winning in the United States because, unfortunately, too many of our citizens, I don't want to call them ignorant because that sounds bad, but they have allowed themselves to be caught unaware. And so don't believe what you see on TV. Those people are progressives with an agenda. They're paid. They come out of our universities. And we don't have to live this way. It doesn't have to be that way.
I'm with you there, and I'm going to bring it to the light. I 100% agree with you. They're trying to shake our Western civilization to its core, because once they have everybody scared and nervous, then they can kind of dive in and try to replant all these dumb ideas in everybody's brains, and they're much more willing to be compliant. I thank you very much for Dr. Swain for coming on. We'll talk about this more, but you've got some great things to add there. That was perfect. We really hope your home is getting fixed too, by the way, after that truck rammed into it. Thank you very, very much for being on the show. We'll see you again next week. All right, Doctor. Thank you. All right.